Okay, welcome to the Deviant Witchery show, where we take over your personal space for an undetermined amount of time. During your time with us, we will discuss an issue we have found within the witchcraft community and also an educational topic. If we have made you uncomfortable, pissed you off, or made you think for yourself, then we have done our job. You can find us in the Deviant Witchery group on Facebook, where we have all sorts of open-minded, fun conversations with witches all over the world. And some even woke up early on a Saturday morning to watch this show. So this week's witchcraft issue is about intent, and we will also be discussing the full moon and Friday the 13th.
Okay. So Mel is obviously not with us this week. She is having some technical difficulties. It's actually very frustrating, but absolutely amusing. Sorry, Mel. Sorry. But just considering our last show, talking about Mercury retrograde and all the shit that's happened this week for all of us, it's been really funny. And I don't want people to get confused. We didn't say that Mercury retrograde didn't exist. We just said, personally, we were saying that it's all on how you go with the flow. And it's not always fun, but it doesn't have to be like crazy.
No, I did
So,
notice a lot of communication issues this week, like right away. Like on Saturday, the day, boom, it within groups, at work, communication, right off the bat, for me at least. Mel's electronic difficulties.
yeah, it's been something else. I mean, I feel like if you got a woman who was on her period and then a pregnant woman and you got that energy and you put it together, that's how I feel. That just, I want to kill someone.
How would you know how that feels?
Because I'm around a lot of women. I
Yeah,
mean,
so yeah, you'd pick up that
so
energy.
so
Okay.
I do. I mean, they tell me how it feels and then they lash out, and I understand how it feels. I might not experience it myself, but yeah, I'm around a lot of women, so it's interesting to say the least. Um,
Yeah.
so that's how I feel. I feel like pregnant and PMSing at the same time. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so just want to let everyone know about that. Mel's probably not going to be here, and I guess we can do it now. I don't want to wait till later because we might run short.
Hmm.
Um, we are having a contest for our YouTube channel once we get 500 subscribers. And interaction, I don't want you just to subscribe and do nothing. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear anything, even if you say that this video is shit. But if you do say this video is shit, back it up, tell me why, and that's fine. But we are giving away a specialty made puppet by my favorite, Mrs. Audley.
And I have one too. You're not going to be getting these. You're going to get your own custom.
Yeah, get your own shit, man.
We're just showing off ours.
They're amazing. That's all I have to say. But yeah, once we figure out who is the winner, we will work together with Mrs. Audley or Miss Audley, and we'll come up with something specific for you. So it's a really special puppet. These beans are amazing, and I've worked with them a lot recently, and the stuff that you can do with them, the stuff that they work with you for, is it's just awesome. You can get a lot done with a puppet. So I wanted to share that. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, invite your friends, talk with us, interact with us on the channel, so we know who you are, and also so you can get entered to win, the puppet.
And join our group too.
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
We have almost 500 people in the group. They should all be subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. Where the hell are you?
Okay, so when talking about intent, okay, because I know that we've gone two different ways with this in our own personal conversations. What are we discussing today about intent?
intent is bullshit. That's, I mean, um, I guess we can cover a little bit of all aspects of it. I think we should start with the fact that it really irritates me when someone says, oh, it doesn't matter what herbs you use, it doesn't matter what colors you use, it doesn't matter what candle you use, it's all about the intent. You don't need anything but your intent. And that really irritates me just because I understand where they're coming from and they're partially true, because intent is very strong, but it's also misguided, I think. Because if you use like all these herbs for, like, let's say they're gonna poison someone or kill someone, but you want it for love,
Yeah.
well, so you might be loving a dead body, and that's nasty. We're not into that. We don't support that.
We do not support that at all.
No, please don't try this. Don't do that. Just don't do it. But that's what I mean. It's like they say you can throw anything together and infuse it with your intent, and somehow that negates the spirit or the essence of all of these ingredients that you're working with, and that's not true. What do you think about that?
I think part of your ingredients, there's a couple different ways. Part of your ingredients is, are you willing to go out and do the work that you need to get the ingredients? There was something I had to do specifically, and I went drove an hour and a half away to get these herbs because I needed to get them. I mean, part of it is the journey that you take to do it, to make sure it's really something that you want to do. And also the colors with candles really helps you focus on what it is. If you say green for prosperity or gold for, for money and stuff like that, it helps keep the intent in your mind. And also when you're working with herbs and crystals and stuff, you're getting the spirit, especially when you create something like mojo bags and jars and bottles and stuff like that, you're actually creating a spirit to help you with your spell.
Right.
So
right.
then those things are important when you're doing that.
Yeah, it's that whole process people take for granted. Like, they can just go into their kitchen and grab something and infuse it with intent, but it's not just that. It's like the whole process, like you said, building that connection, going and doing what needs to be done to get all those things that you need. There is something absolutely powerful in that, and it's missed when you think you can just throw a few spices together and call it sage, when it's not. It's frustrating because all these people are, like, again, they're being taught wrong. And I know people are going to say, well, back in the day, witches of old, they didn't have all these herbs, all these things, so it was all their intent. But that's not true either, because these people back in the day, they knew the herbs that worked for them. They had that knowledge. They knew what to use to work. It wasn't just getting their intent. They were working with the spirits of the plants. They were working with the spirits of the land. They were working with all these energies, knowing how to use them.
Because odds were it was their own garden, so they were working with them from when they were planted. And I do feel that they were probably a lot closer to their gods than we are now, and that helps immensely as well, and their spirits and their ancestors, everything, which helps. It's a big backbone of it.
Absolutely. So I know I can't remember what I wrote on my Deviant Witch page, but I remember writing intent is bullshit. That's always stuck out to me, because intent is bullshit. It's so much more than just intending. I mean, I could intend to be a plastic surgeon, but if you come for me for breast enlargements or an ass, boom. That didn't sound right. But it wouldn't be. You would be fucked. It wouldn't be true. I mean, you can intend to be all these things, but unless you have the knowledge, the experience, unless you have something to back it up, it's not gonna really matter.
I think part of it is like how big of a spell you're doing, because to me there's different levels. Like if you're trying to that name paper you've mentioned before, and you wrote about it on your page. That's a little bit of a smaller thing. You know, you use the pen and the paper. It's still very powerful, but if there's something that's bigger that you need to do, you're going to need more tools, and that is my opinion for it. If I'm doing something big, I'm going to need more than just a pen and a paper. I think for me, it's more of when you're doing the domination type of work, you know what I mean. I'm trying to come up with more words for it. Commanding, yeah, stuff like
influencing.
that. Influencing, that was the word.
Uh-huh.
When you're doing that type of stuff, you really need to put more power into it.
Yeah, you do. I mean, the smallest of things can be absolutely, powerful. But like you said, when you have a complex working, when you know that you're going to need to have some extra, power or pack more of a punch, you have to rely on things more than just I'm overusing this damn word, intent. Because it's all about it's about weaving. You're weaving your magic. You're weaving this connection. So you don't want something if you don't want it to rely on one simple thing, because if that one thing goes wrong or something happens, that one thing is your main focus, then you're really screwed, because that just unravels everything else. But if you have all these components that you weave together and you work together and they all have their place, then if one thing doesn't really follow through, or one thing that isn't as strong, you have other things supporting it. So it's not just about, like, again, if your will or if your intent is not as strong as some of these other spirits, of these ingredients that you're working with, they can pick up your slack if you have the right, connection with them.
I think a big thing too with spell work is offerings too, giving offerings and thanking, like legitimately thanking who is helping you. That's a little bit more than intent. You need to actually go and do the work and figure out, and I think that goes with the connection with deity and your spirits. So you do need more than just to say a couple words and think some thoughts, because you really need to, get that stuff going. So we also had, after you cast your spell, so your intentions after you cast your spell.
Absolutely. And not a lot of people think about that either. It's like they think they can cast their spell and boom, yay, it's done. I have my new pair of ruby slippers. But it's funny because just recently I had someone come to me and they were talking about this spell that they cast, and then they cast, they're excited, blah, blah, blah. Few days later, they were talking about how poor they are. They were talking about how sad they were. They were talking about all these things, and their spell was for abundance, for money. They were talking about how they don't like their job. They were talking about all these things. Their intentions were all about the exact opposite of what their spell work was. And you can't do that. That makes no sense. And people need to learn how to follow their thought patterns, follow their words, because if they're casting a spell for one thing, yet their words and their actions, their intentions say something else, you're not going to get what you want. And you might get it like 5 years down the road when you don't want it, because of all these intentions, all these words and things that are going against you. It's going to take a lot longer to come forth.
It's like those people that cast a job spell or cast a money spell or an abundance spell and then don't take the job offers or send in applications. I was actually watching Orange is the New Black.
Oh,
and
dear.
One of the characters in the women's prison, if you don't watch the show, she practices Santeria. Which I know they didn't make it obvious, but I know because I know about Santeria a little bit. And this guy came up to her and said, "Your candle didn't work. I burned the candle next to my job application." And she's like, "Well, did you print up another application and hand it in? And he just looked at her like, because he did the spell, but he didn't actually hand it in. And then he was pissed off that he didn't get a job. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
You have to follow through. And it's just like casting a love spell and then never leaving your house.
Unless you want to be in love with yourself or your computer.
Well, okay, so there are some people who are into that, but it's just you have to follow through and you have to do the mundane stuff too, because you have to kind of prove to yourself that you're willing to take the step in order to do it. It's like you want to separate from your spouse because they're abusive, but you don't actually leave. You just calm down. You don't actually find a way out. Different things like that. There's so many different situations, and sometimes when people cast, they don't know what they want either.
I know, exactly. Yeah. Well, I have Mel in chat, and she says, I don't have the English accent, so I'm sorry, but she says intent is bollocks. But
it is.
It is, absolutely. Bollocks. I completely went brain dead for a second.
I don't think we had as much on intent as we thought we were going to.
I know. I was like fired up, but I think it's because we've said so much on intent already. But I believe that our questions app or something's installed here. So if anyone has questions or wants to say something about intent, then go right ahead and we can address those.
Yes, because I know different people think different things when they speak about intent. I mean, I do believe in correspondences. You really need it just gets that extra oomph. There was a thing that I was doing over the week, trying to get more people involved in it in our group with the days. A lot of people don't utilize the energies of the specific days. I'm trying to get people to get creative. I'm going to keep bumping them up though. And I don't go into hours because I don't have patience for that. But there are planetary hours where can you use specific hours to help with your magic as well. And colors and herbs and all sorts of crazy stuff.
We like crazy.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of my spell work is actually pretty simple. But I just pick as many correspondences as I can. I just do a lot of candle magic. But I always have the oils that I need and the herbs. And that's another thing, oils. You don't need to buy those crazy expensive oils. You can make your own oil. You don't need to have all these essential oils. Those are expensive. I have a couple of hers, and if you don't have the money, though, you can make your own, and you can use herbs, and you can put your intent into the oil and the herbs, and you have to connect with it and talk to it and make it. I know people who have made oil. You make, banishing oil with the black peppercorns and olive oil.
I love my black peppercorns.
I actually used some black peppercorns today. So you can make your own oils and you don't need to spend a lot of money. I do feel like some things may require the energy of the essential oils and different things, but you can really work around it because a lot of people have problems with finances or they can't keep stuff in their house for whatever reason because they're 12 or because they live with somebody else. I mean,
right.
That was one of the other things we had recently. If you're an adult, you should be able to, I know everybody's situation is different, but you should be able to stand up for yourself and do what you need to do to be able to live your life, be who you are. You don't need a lot of, candles don't cost a lot. And sometimes when I don't have a candle for the specific color, I'll use the white candles. I know you have a whole box of them.
I have a lot.
When I use it's more the 3-day candles, the glass ones, I only use white ones because the ones that I found in my store, the different colored ones, they don't burn as well. and you can't read them if they burn like shit.
Right.
So I use the white ones, and I will write on the glass, and I will put in my oils. You take a skewer and poke that bitch, and you put oils in it. You could put herbs on top of it, and there you go. And you got white, and that's for multi-purpose.
And you know, if all else fails and you don't have a candle, you can use a lighter, and it's instant. You know, it's not going to stay up as long, but you can use, if you need to use the fire element, if you need to get that, just use a lighter and just light it up for a little bit and work it. Just be creative. Bridget,
Yes.
go ahead.
I would not recommend electric candles or bullshit. Electric candles are bullshit.
Yeah. But
fire is energy. You need batteries are not. I don't know how else.
There's a joke in there, and I think I should just not go there right now.
Yeah, what did Bridget have to say?
Yeah. Bridget says, intent is energy you pull in to aim at your goal. If you don't raise the vibration of energy, then words are just words. And that is, that's true. That's what a lot of people, I feel, are missing, is like they think their intent is just the word. Like they just intend for it to be something. You know, they're not raising their energy. They're not casting. They're not really meeting that, I guess, that word, that intention with their energetic imprint. You know, they're not raising it to that level where they need to be. They're just saying something but not really meaning it.
Yeah.
And that's
I think that goes with they don't really know what they want, so they think they know what they want, so they say what they think they want, and it doesn't really work out. Another thing is, too, is people are asking for spells. I need a spell for this. Well, first of all, look it up. If you need a certain kind of, and you can always change things. Just recently, I haven't done it yet, but there's a spell I'm going to work on, and I knew the type of spell I wanted to do, and it was written, because it's a hoodoo thing, it's written to speak to the Christian God, which I don't talk to, so I rewrote it for my goddess and the things that she does and she stands for. So I completely rewrote half of it. So, I mean, I'm not going to pray to a God that I don't believe in. You gotta work your own thing. And if you don't have a specific one, you can reword it to whatever it is that you believe in. But there's a lot of writing your own spells is extremely important, and you can use spells that are already written as a jump-off point, but you can make substitutions. You can change words. It doesn't have to fucking rhyme either. I don't
rhyme. I can't rhyme.
I can't rhyme either. Most of the stuff, it just flows out of my mouth.
Mel also said, she just said in chat, there is work behind intent, and that's what we just said as well. Is like there's work. Like it's not just intention. There's work behind that intention, and that's another thing that gets missed a lot. Is the actual work that you have to put into it to follow through. No, I won't talk about that. Let's go a little bit into Friday the 13th, just to move things along.
Okay.
Do you want to?
I know I'm going to read some of these links that I have to give Mel some credit for finding these links, because I did not do any research on Friday the 13th, so I am totally, and I'm not going to steal her research, I'm giving her credit for it. The links that she posted about Friday the 13th have to do with the Knights Templar myth, which is that they were massacred on Friday the 13th of October, and it says the facts are there is no record of a mass slaughter. There's only a record of order going out that day to arrest the Knights. I don't know anything about the Knights, so I can't back that up with my own knowledge. Here we go. They believe it's the day that Bible scholars believe that Jesus was crucified, since Jews and Muslims worshipped Friday nights. And then we know that there's 13 full moons. This is first, 13 full moons. There were 13 people present at the Last Supper.
Do they have pizza at the Last Supper?
I wish. Since 13 was associated with a woman's menstrual cycle, which was considered a curse. It is a curse, damn it.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm rereading this as we speak. I'm reading this as we speak, so.
Well, it makes sense because a lot of people were scared of the moon. I mean, the full moon, there's a lot of crazy-ass people that come out on the full moon. And then, no, people are going to get pissed off at this anyways. Women on their rag they're scary too. If you don't feed them chocolate, it's like, whoo, they're going to kill you.
It's so hard because it is hormonal. You can't control it.
And I think that's the scary thing is like not in those, in that energy, in that frequency, it's not really something that you can fully control. And so people let go and this powerful, you feel it. Like you can feel it when people, like it's very powerful and sometimes it's very unnerving. And that energy is hard to deal with at times. So when people get crazy off the full moon, it's scary for some, and you get a lot of crazies. So I can see why that negative or that scary myth would be around, because people are stupid and don't know how to think for themselves. So they get scared, and they create, myths. I was always taught that Friday the 13th was a very powerful, very lucky day. One of my favorite teachers in grade school, she was from India, but her birthday was on Friday the 13th, and she always said that it was a good number. It was a good, powerful day. I don't know if that had anything to do with culture or anything to do with what she was taught, or if it was just because it was her birthday. But she always said it was a good day. It was a good number, and there's nothing to be scared of on that day. It was just a lot of people have these myths.
Well, my son was born on the 13th of April, and we know that he's a little demon child, so I don't know.
My minion!
Yes, Michael's minion. So Mel is watching us, but she can't be on video. She said most of the facts are rubbish, based on superstitions, but it wasn't until the Victorian times that it got silly. And it seems the hysteria then grew over the films that were made. So I guess with horror movies, and they just kind of jumped on Friday the 13th, I think they probably just needed something. Now, when I started doing my research into paganism, Friday the 13th came up with Freya, because Friday is Freya's day, is the day of love. And if I remember correctly, 13 is one of her numbers. So Friday the 13th is actually a really good day. It's a really good love day.
Yeah, and well, also, Christopher just said that it's also the traditional number for which is coven. And then Bridget said 13 star signs. Draco the dragon was dropped due to being the 13th. So you can see there's some interesting things surrounding the 13th. I honestly think that it is viewed in a negative light because it's so powerful, and because of witches, people of power, metaphysical practitioners. That number holds some sort of resonance to us, and it was made to be something negative. So it was another disempowered thing. So people don't want to use it, because if they did, they would know the truth. They would know that there was power in it, and then people don't. They don't want people to be in power, whoever they are.
It's a way of keeping everybody down.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that. So there's some 13 in numerology too. Number 13 is a karmic number, is the number of upheaval. So that new ground can be broken. Apparently I can't read today. The number 13 has great power. If this power is used for selfish purposes, it will bring destruction on the self. I'm going to stop reading because I can't read today. So 13 is a very, very powerful number.
It reminds me of, and I I guess shout out to Amy, uh, it seems to me like chaos. You know,
Mm.
chaos is very powerful. You know, there's a lot of creation in that, and so you have this number who that brings this upheaval. You know, brings this sort of chaos energy to throw things up and to make you really question. It makes you question what you're doing or who you are or all these things, which is a very powerful thing if you know how to use that. A
But
very powerful
upheaval
thing.
isn't always bad either. I mean, there's
No.
great changes in chaos. And chaos can definitely clear the way for changes that you need to make into your life. So the full moon, there's so many things to be said about the full moon.
It's it's funny because I was talking to someone last night about the full moon, and someone asked me what I was doing, and I said I'm cleaning and I'm doing nothing. And if that's a horrible witch, then that's fine with me because I don't like the full moon. It makes me feel I'm not a good person around the full moon. It really makes me feel very introverted. It makes me feel not depressed, but just I don't like being around people around that time, and so I don't want to use. If I don't need to use that energy for a specific
Hmm.
thing, I don't want to cast. I don't want to do that because I don't like the energies I receive at the full moon.
I think the full moon energy for me is kind of chaotic. I notice that I have a harder time sleeping. My kids have a harder time sleeping. It's just one of those things. I know when I was doing my research in my Magica days, we had to research the full moon, and one of the things that came up was why it makes people so crazy is because since we're made up of so much water, that the full moon, it affects us like it affects the tides as well, and that they have noticed, in the ER and stuff, more people are showing up. There's more arrest records around the full moon and everything else. I do think it affects, I can't say everybody, but most people, it does affect them whether they like it or not,
Yeah,
even if there are no werewolves.
you never know. Never know.
So,
I want the werewolf from True Blood. Damn.
oh yeah. See, my question was, I want the werewolf from Teen Wolf, the one that had the Triskel tattoo. I can't remember
Oh
his
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Can't remember his name. Was it Derek?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
little bit of an ass, but
That's okay.
tape.
Uh-huh. Um, but the full moon is very powerful. It's a very powerful time, and I think people need to, connect with it themselves. Like, I was taught to really bring in the moon's energy, like, all month long, just to see how it affects me, how I work with it, and I think that's very important for people because just because you connect with the full moon in a positive way doesn't mean that someone else is going to. Um, the full moon is very good at granting wishes. I
Hmm.
think and I think that is another reason why it's so overwhelming because the full moon kind of pulls out in me at least. What do I really want? What do I need? It asks me a lot of different questions about my purpose and what I need to be doing right now. It really takes a lot from me, um, because it's kind of like you need to focus. You need to do this. You need to do this. Uh, and I get that a lot from the full moon. You can do a lot of work on big projects, which if you are like me, you have a lot of different projects that you want to do. So when the full moon comes, it's like, oh shit, what do I want?
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. So the full moon can definitely bring about some overwhelming emotions.
Yeah, which I think is what part of what makes everybody crazy. I mean, that's where they got the word lunacy from, was from the lunar, from the moon. One of the things that I did do today, though, was that little protection salt vase that I showed during the first video that we made. I redid
Hmm.
that today because I wanted to use the full moon energy in order to make that protection piece.
Right.
And usually during the full moon, I'll cleanse myself, but I have noticed lately that I've been doing it more often. I used to just do it once a month, but I've noticed that I've been doing a cleansing more often than that. I guess as you get deeper into things, you just kind of need to kind of clean yourself up a little bit more.
Yeah, you're a dirty bitch. Um, and Christopher in the questions thing says it's the dark moon that drives him to depression, and I thrive on the dark moon.
Yeah, me
So
too.
again, it's like you need to really pay attention to how you connect with the moon, because someone can say, oh, you can do this wishful abundance, blah, 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 on the full moon, and you might not get that from that moon.
Mhm.
So it's really important to weave that energy, but you need to understand how you connect with those energies yourself.
Mhm.
I know people are probably wanting like specific spells, specific things given to them, but I'm not going to do that. I think that it's really important to teach you how to do it. Talk about how you should do it. But you're not going to get specifics from me unless it's written in a book, which will be out soon. Um, what other things on the full moon do you notice for yourself? Do you have any specific practices that you like to do?
I actually don't really do full moon stuff because, like I said, it makes me crazy. And
More crazy.
more crazy. I do work more with the dark moon, and because that's also it's Hecate thing too. So that's part
Yeah.
of it. It depends on, I think, the god that you work with too. But I have noticed with the full moons, people get caught up. It's the times. Everybody kept saying, I don't know, this time thing has got me a little bit because everybody has different opinions about the times. I read somewhere that you can use the full moon energy for 5 days, and I don't know where that came from. For me, I do get a little bit picky about the times because I do think that after the moon goes full, um, the energy does change. I know Bridget, I had posted something in the group and Bridget didn't agree with it. It was from Silver Ravenwolf, actually. She didn't entirely agree with it because who's to say exactly when it goes full? But
Right.
I don't think you can, I think at least a day or two afterwards, the energy is different. The energy has changed. I like to try to do my work right before the moon goes full
Hmm.
and go from there. It depends. It really depends on what I'm doing, though.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see how you would be able to use the full moon at its peak 2 days, 3 days, or 5 days before or after. It's different. All the energies are different. So it's how do you tap into that fullness if it's already shifted? I again I linking it to color or liken it to color. Can't talk today. Um, when you mix color and it starts to oxidize, so its potency
Mhm.
isn't strong. So if I let it go for 5 hours, it's not going to do what I wanted to do originally.
Mhm.
So you don't get the same result, and you might not get any result. It's the same thing with the moon. You're not going to get the same result at its peak that you do before or after it reaches its peak.
I
You
think
can go ahead.
sorry. I think a lot of what's been going on too is everybody's going for convenience because they have to do this or they have to do that, and it's part of we get tested. Part
Mhm.
of being a witch is getting tested, and what are you willing to do to be able to do what you need to do? Can you do this? Wake up in the middle of the night and do what you need to do, which I found out last week I can't because I was too tired. Um, can you do things right before work? I mean, I work at night. I go to work I probably leave about 10:30 at night and I go to work. If I need to do something, I will do it. I like to do all my stuff at night, actually. So I will do it at night before I go to work. When I was doing my full moon rituals, I just wasn't doing the wine thing because I was going to work. I have done spell work during the day. I prefer to do it at night, but you got to do it when you can do it. I mean, you got to do it when you can do it, but you got to do it. Oh God, I just contradicted myself, didn't I? You do have to be able to work around your own schedule, but you have to be able to make the sacrifices that you need to do to be able to get the work done. We're good with that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, the life of a witch is honestly like a walking contradiction. So
I'm glad I got it right then.
that's all good. I do. I think it's important to know that you can't just say, "Oh, I'll do it later." If you need the full moon, do the full moon. If you need the dark moon, do the dark moon. Don't wait.
And the dark moon is different than the new moon.
Yes.
They're different.
But also, if you need to do something at the full moon and it's not the full moon, learn how to switch that up. Learn how to use the moon phase that it currently is in and produce results. That's another thing. Getting off the full moon, but oh well. A witch needs to do what a witch needs to do. You do what is necessary. So if you need to do something, then you need to do it then and there. Don't wait. Don't wait 20 days for the fucking full moon to come.
Jeez.
Don't, because it's going to get worse. Things will get worse. Do what you have to do at that moment, but learn how to work with those energies. Learn how to work with those, the moon phase to bring about what you need. It won't be the same way as if you're working with the full moon, but it's going to be, you're still going to get results, You just need to learn how to work with that, the different energy to fit in with your spell. And so many people don't get that. They just think they can do the same spell at a different moon phase, or they don't do the spell and they wait for the moon phase, yet it doesn't work because they waited too long and now they have to do something else. And they lost
their opportunity in the mundane world when they
Right.
postponed it. Like, if you're thinking about something for abundance you think about bringing stuff in and bringing stuff to you. But what if you really just need to banish your debt? You need to get rid of your debt. I mean, you can use the... That's the waxing. I always get them mixed up. You can use the waxing moon phase, which is used for banishing, to banish your debt. Whenever I would do a spell work, when my kids get sick, I always do some kind of candle. And the first thing I try to figure out is the moon phase, and which I just have to remember when the last whatever it was, and then I'll pick the appropriate candle and then go from there. So if you can banish sickness and you can bring in healing with the different phases, and if you're doing like a long-term sickness, you can change it as the moon energy changes. You can say if you want to do something for the whole month, you could do the banishing for the 2 weeks and then the bringing in for the other 2 weeks when the moon changes.
I believe that you got it reversed.
Oh, maybe.
It's the waning moon, I believe.
The waning moon. Okay.
You tear down, waxing grows.
Yes, okay. As I said, I always get them mixed up. I'm just like, okay, well, we just had, it was a full moon, so now that I know that everything is going to be for banishing until the new moon, that's how I do it in my head.
I'm the same way. It's hard for me to keep track, so I always have to reference. I always look up. Even, after doing it so long, I'm still like, okay, waning, waxing, full, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, then they get even more specific with, like, the waxing gibbous and I don't know any of that stuff. You don't need to know all that stuff to be able to practice, but to be able to know how to use the moon's energy is very important.
Yeah, I just talked with someone last night someone came to them for a spell to be done, and it was a full moon, so they wanted to work, all this amazing magic, powerful stuff, and they gave this person a fucking list that long of shit. Like, all these different things that this person wants to happen into their life. It's like, okay, you're going to be casting for all these different things. No. You need to focus. If you start casting, okay, I want some money, I want a new set of tits, I want to lose weight, I need... It's just...
Yeah, because you're bringing stuff in and you're also trying to get rid of the weight. You have to be able to, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, focus on one thing. Work with this moon for one thing that is going to help with the rest, but one thing that's important. Don't try and get everything all done at once, especially with the moon. It's like, if you try and cast like 100 different things because it's a full moon, you're going to have all this energy spread out thin, and nothing's really going to happen. It might take long to achieve.
It's going to
And
get really confused.
and I totally went off, but what you said just a second ago about the difference between banishing and gaining, that's another thing that's important for people to understand is, like, if you need more money, you might not need to work with the full moon. You might need to work with banishing elements, like you said. You need to learn what you really need in order to produce the results that you seek. So if what is more important is to get rid of something, then you need to work with that. But if you actually need to bring something new in, then, or if you need to just wish for something or you bring something huge in, that is a different moon phase.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think it's very important for witches to know themselves. Know where you are, know your practice, keep asking questions. And if you're working on behalf of clients, ask more questions.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say the full moon's good for wishing. The full moon's good for bringing desires. And you have to be strong in yourself to say, no, we're not going to do all this. I'll take your money, but we're not doing all this. Well, we're doing one thing, and that comes with a good consultation. Again, with hair, you get good results with a good consultation. The same thing goes for witchcraft. You get good results with a great consultation. You need to discern what someone needs. Mm-hmm. So if they need the full moon, they need that power, they need that essence, and that's great. But you have to ask the questions that are going to tell you that that's what you need.
Well, maybe they should have cast a clarity spell so they know what the fuck they need. And then go from there. Make that list a little shorter.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Another thing, I think I'm gonna I should have cut my hair, because a lot of people like to cut the hair on the full moon, which is interesting because I thought it was like the new moon because you want new growth, but
I've heard it depends on what you want it to do. Some people don't want their hair to grow fast, so they'll cut it between the full moon and the new moon when the moon gets smaller, and some people want it to grow faster, so they'll use the other moon phase. I have heard of that.
Yeah, it always interested me because it's like if you want it to grow, then you'd probably want to cut at the new moon because that's new growth.
Yeah.
You want more. You want something new, or as it waxes, you want to grow. Or full. I guess I can see full moon too.
Something with planting too, because you want your plants to grow. Full moon magic is great for. I think it's really good for protection.
Mm-hmm.
See, I always thought like the full moon you had to do everything with it, but you don't.
I don't feel that way. I mean, I guess you can, but I don't feel that way. For me, like how I connect with the full moon, I would, if I want to be sneaky, I connect to people on a very mental, very emotional level. I kind of, sneak in, and I can do that. But I don't know. That's just how I feel. Like it's very psychic to me. It's very psychic energy, but on a very internal, very subtle, almost. This is funny because this is more like Dark Moon, but almost like at the underworld for me. Like you go deep within, and get something done. And that's how I connect with the full moon, because that's how I feel during that time. Very, very withdrawn. No, and emotional.
I feel chaotic. It's just and tired and crabby, so that's probably why I don't usually do much during the full moon. I guess we have. I don't know. Again, I don't think we had as much to talk about as we thought we did. Another thing is, what about charging stuff by the full moon? Stuff, whatever you got, stuff.
I'm always worried that my shit's gonna get stolen, or the dogs are gonna eat my crystals. So I don't let anything stay out in the full moon. I don't let anything charge. I I don't feel that because I don't feel that I need to, especially with all my crystals. Like if I was making moon water or if I needed something specifically um, enhanced by the moon, I would probably make like a gem elixir. I'd probably do that, sit out in the front yard, and hope that the assholes don't steal it. But I don't do that often. I don't really charge with the full moon. A lot of people think that you have to charge your crystals every fucking full moon. Bring all your crystals out, charge it. Bring all your other things out, charge it. Blah blah blah. Charge, charge, charge. I just don't think it's beneficial to do that. But some people might. They might connect with that, and that's cool. If you know why you do it, then that's go ahead.
That's their own ritual in their own way.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's cool, but like, I have too many to be able to do that. I did do that for a while. It just became too much of a hassle. Those things are heavy, and if I'm not using them all the time, there's not really a point to be doing it, to be bringing them outside in the moon all the time. I have dedicated like Book of Shadows in the full moon, some new tools. This is more back in the day when I first started, because that's how it's supposed to be done. Consecrate your tools and this and that, whatever, during the full moon. So yeah. I have done that before.
And what's really sickening is our Mel. She loves the full moon. Like she thrives in the full moon. She's very hyper. She's full of this just giddy energy, like Tigger. And she does. She loves the full moon, and that's how she connects with it. Again, it's very, very important for people to learn how to connect with these moon phases for themselves. Because, like, I wouldn't charge my crystals under the full moon because I don't like how I connect with the full moon. So why would I want that energy in the things that I'm working with if I don't really like how I feel during that time? Now, if I was doing a curse, I might utilize that. I might get some
use that something crazy energy.
Right, I might get something and use that energy because I can tap into that frequency and feel like shit, or feel, just not feel happy. I can use that energy and really do some awesome work on cursing or influencing in a specific way. But that's because I know how I connect with that. So I would honestly tell people right now, go out when the moon's, out there, go out, pull that energy in, and honor it. See what you feel like, connect with it, meditate with it, ask it questions, connect and see how you relate to that moon. Not just on the day it turns full, the day before, the day after. Just keep and make a journal, write it down, because that's going to only enhance your spellcraft. You are going to become a better witch if you know how you connect with all of these moon phases during, the times, during the days, whatever. But if you know how to connect, you're going to know how to really create specialty witchcraft for yourself.
What about the moon phases with astrology?
You totally cut out. I heard moon phases. Blah, 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 blah.
With the moon phases with astrology, with these zodiac signs, because currently we are in Capricorn. I just looked it up. No. I'm horrible. You can call me a bad witch. I'm horrible, horrible, horrible with astrology. So I have to always look that shit up. Like it's something I would love to learn, but there's so many different people who have different views on it. Like I don't know where to begin. I have so many other things that I do. It's like I don't even know. I don't know. What I just don't know. People are complicated too, so I know Capricorn is an earth sign, so maybe to feel more grounded. That's one of the things that I'm very into the moon phases and the days, but the astrology bit I haven't really gotten into magically, because I think that's important too when it comes to different things. Like if you had your full moon in Pisces or even Cancer compared to Aries is completely different.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know
That I do
every.
know.
That's why I'm trying to find like the extremes. Cancer is the emotional. Pisces is the psychic and
Towards.
intuition and intuition. And Aries is that, and Leo that freaking fire energy. It's like those are definitely extremes.
Hot damn. um, yeah. And again, that I'm just repeating myself all the time, but you have to pull that energy in and see how you connect with it. That's why, again, it's important to know those moon phases and the astrological attributes and write it down. I have things written down, I just don't know them by heart. So I know how to connect, but it's like, oh, Capricorn, Pisces, yada, yada, yada. I know Pisces really well, so I can talk about Pisces. People get pissed off when I talk about Pisces.
People have been starting to get pissed off when I talk about Pisces too, because we have the same opinions on them. But like I've noticed that when the moon is in Cancer, because I am a Cancer, I get more mama-like. It's more that like that mama bear type of thing. And other people, they get really emotional and they can't handle it. And I guess it depends on if you have like an Aries or a Leo, a fire sign that gets emotional. They don't know how to handle it. So I can see where it makes them uncomfortable. But for me, it just kind of increases that mothering, nurturing thing. And not always for the kids. It could be for anybody. I just notice it affects me differently than it does other people. So you do have to pay attention to your individual, and it's not necessarily zodiac because not everybody believes in astrology. But, different things and different ways. I lost my train of thought.
I saw it. I witnessed that on camera.
I'm so upset that Mel can't be here because I'm sure she has so much more to say.
She does. It's okay. I think another thing about the full moon is all about decisions. I think that during this time, it's really good to, at least for me, to plan, to make a decision, to stick with something. There's quite a few people that I know, not personally, but through Facebook, they're contemplating moving, and I think this is a good time to work on that, decide, is it right for you? And a friend, Scarlett, her daughter Nadia, she needs to hear this too. It's time to move. It's time to pick up and time to for some new changes. But I think that is new moon stuff, but I think that full moon, for me, it's about deciding, making a commitment. New moon, you start with new things, and the full moon, to me, is about, boom, this is what's going to be done. You don't have to move tomorrow, but you need to just feel that and make that decision now. That's what I get. I'm always making some sort of like dramatic decision during the full moon. I know.
I wonder if that goes with the chaos kind ofness that the full moon brings, making a dramatic decision.
Very possible. I mean, and again, it's because I know how I interact with these things that I'm able to make those decisions so fast, because it's like, okay, it's being uprooted. I can deal with it. I know how to deal with it. I hate you. You suck. Fuck you. Okay, I can move on now. Let's have some pizza. Let's have some me time. Let's meditate, do some yoga, and I'm going to become the next president.
There you go, right on.
Hell no. But, I do. I make a lot of decisions during the full moon. I think it's important for people to understand that this is a time where you need to take your power back. This is a time where you embody this raw, primal energy, and this is a time where you need to not just allow it to come into you, but you need to allow yourself to raise up to it, and you need to just fully, let it ride you. It's very ecstatic. Like, you need to get the full moon, and don't just like, oh, I'm gonna invite you in, come into the door, but don't fully come into the door. You need to just boom, let it go, let it ride you, and the more you fight against it, is the more hurt, the more challenge that it brings, and it's the more that you just don't understand it. If you allow it and if you open up to it, then you're in this, connection. There's no blocks in the way, so you understand how you connect with that, and you can, make your decisions.
I think that works with a lot of things, not just the moon. You have to stop fighting and you have to kind of go with it because for the most part something is happening for a reason. If you're fighting with your friend or they're not talking to you or stuff's going down at work, maybe you need to lose that friendship. Maybe you need to find a new job. Maybe you need to strangle your boss. I mean,
Right.
I've had so many work issues this week. I can't even tell you. Um, I definitely did notice the communication thing with Mercury retrograde this week for sure. Or it could be the moon, who knows? And all these energies do build up. Things do build up. It's not like, oh, it's the end of the world, it's Friday the 13th and the moon, but they do build up, but don't kill yourself over it. You have to just be able to relax. And maybe that's what part of it is too, is teaching yourself or finding a different way to relax and let go and either write it out or just let it go.
Yeah. And Bridget said, full moon, full energy, high vibration, high clarity, which is true. That's all about. And if you also have to think about what work have you been doing up to the full moon. Are you in this, not necessarily low vibration, but were you doing more earthy underworld work? And now it's like, boom, the full moon's here, and it's this high frequency, high vibration. You're going to be like, you're not going to know how to, deal with it. So that's another thing to consider, because if you're doing all this work and then the moon comes, like, boom, you think that something's wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just you have to switch your vibration, just start, becoming more clear about what you need, clear about what you want, and raising your vibration, meditating and allowing your energy to just kind of travel up and outward and expand and connect with the moon and bring it into you, versus going lower and withdrawing, if you can. Some people just, we withdraw, and that's how we connect. But it all just depends on your personal experience with the moon, with the energies, with everything. There's no one. I can't really say that there's one right way. It's all personalized.
Yeah, and I've noticed that a lot of people either they're trying to be one way or the other. They're trying to either really, really keep their vibration up here, trying to astral travel and open up their third eye and talk to their deity and the meditation, or they're trying to ground and get rid of excess energy that's not theirs and connect with the earth and do all these earthy things. And you have to be able to move around and switch. That's kind of one of my issues. I'm always trying to ground and be more connected in here and there, but that kind of makes me more scatterbrained at the same time, because
Oh,
I'm
God.
not allowing myself um, to enjoy the higher vibration or be in the higher vibration.
Right. Another interesting thing, Christina says, Capricorn basic energy is structure, patience, thrift, restraint, and law and order. However, when using Capricorn, you are to be careful of your own ruthless ambition in your workings.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a bitch. If basically, it'd be a good time to go for something career oriented or something that you really want. Um, but you have to be careful of not hurting other people or things in the process. That's what I'm getting from that.
Well, I know some Capricorns, and yeah, they are. They don't care. They're a little selfish. The ones that I know, anyways.
I think
They're a little
Capricorn's my rising
selfish.
sign.
Is it?
I think so. Oh,
That might
shit.
explain a couple of things.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
I have no Earth in my chart at all.
Mm.
Capricorn is an Earth sign. I have none, which I think why I'm constantly trying to ground. Um, but yeah.
Okay, so little tips for you to include the moon. If you want to work with the moon in its full aspect, you can if you have oils, if you have something that needs to be moon blessed, take the moon, put your hands out, grab it, feel the moon in your hands, take the energy down, place it into what you want charged. If you charge, because I don't, but if you like that idea, if you work with that, you need that, place it into something. Don't just like, moon, come to me. Work. Put your hands up, feel it, feel it in your hands, really feel it, grab it, put it down, put it into like a gem elixir, put it into your vodka. Put it into whatever you need. If there's a spell, bring that energy down, put it into that. You put it into yourself, feel how you feel when you have the moon inside you. But bring it into you, bring it into your work, and, situate it there. Don't just like put a piece of paper out or put a crystal out and look up at the moon and say a few chants and look down like it's charged. You're good.
Something I read in a different group today was, they wanted to do a drawing down of the moon, but it is raining and cloudy. It's raining in my neck of the woods on the East Coast. You can still use that energy. You can still draw down that moon. Even if you can't see it, you can still grab that moon.
Yeah.
Like Michael was talking about. I mean, the moon might be over here and you're grabbing over here, but you're grabbing the energy, not the moon itself, obviously. So you can do it either which way, and I do feel like you can do it in the comfort of your own home too. I don't think that if you don't have a way to be outside, you don't have privacy, or you live in an apartment building or something like that, you can still do it in your home. I'm lucky where my altar is actually, there's a window right above it, and I can, for the most part, see the moon right there. So I'm lucky in that aspect, but not everybody has that.
Right.
You have to work with your limitations, basically.
Yeah. And try it out. Go inside, pull down the moon. But I think as witches, like you can see the moon. You can really feel it. So even if you're inside and there's like popcorn ceiling, whatever, you can bring down the moon and feel it, like, because you can connect with it. You're not just physically seeing it; you're connecting with it. Mm-hmm. Try it out. Try it that way. Try it when you're outside in its full glory. Try it out. Just do it. You can't be a witch if you're not doing shit.
Yeah, you might be connecting with it more when you can't see it because you're trying harder to connect with it. That's my opinion about it, and nothing is going to come too easy, even though if you see it, like you said, even if you see it, doesn't mean you're connecting with it.
Right. Yeah, so I think honestly, you guys, we're going to have to make this a little shorter than normal because Blythe has a recital for her daughter to go to. So I think we should just kind of close it up a little. And I have to apologize. I know that we kind of just went all over the place today. Mel is kind of like our rock, so she's really good at telling this is what to do, blah blah blah. And I think she was probably far more prepared than either one of us.
Yeah,
but I think we had a good discussion. And I have a lot of notes that I didn't get to address. I'm going to put that in a blog. And I'm going to put a lot more tips in the blog, too. And I'll share that link with all of you when I get it up. Yeah. Oh, there's also a birthday wishing thing going on right now. We want to say happy birthday to... What's that bitch's name? Our crystal lady. We want to say happy birthday.
The crystal pusher. That's what I call her.
Crystal pusher.
I called her the devil woman.
or I call her Queen of Italy. Elisa, it's her birthday, and I just want to say happy birthday, even though that you piss me off sometimes, and you're a bitch. I love you.
She sent me a link to a statue I wanted yesterday. It's like half off because it's a Hecate statue. Her arm is broken, and I'm like thinking about it. Well, you gotta fix it. That's why it's half off.
Oh, okay.
You gotta fix it.
Her arms.
That's one of the things.
Was it like? Oh.
All right, stop. That's one of the things that I like about her is that she sees something and she thinks about you. She'll tell you about it, or send you a link to something, and that's one of the things that I really like about her. And she'll talk about crystals. she'll talk about crystals all day.
Yeah, and she finds the best deals all over the damn place. Like, how did you do that? You're not human.
She might not be.
I don't think she is.
Yes,
honestly.
we wanted to wish her a very happy birthday on this full moon, Friday the 13th. Mercury retrograde.
Amazing.
Awesomeness.
Yeah. So, again, check out our contest. Invite your people to our YouTube page. Talk with us. I know this show wasn't as amazing as it could have been, but we will bring you a better show next week, maybe. But if you really want to win that poppet, just subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Or check her out and just buy one and then win one.
Oh yeah, do that.
They are awesome.
They are amazing.
And she does customs too.
I have a custom.
All yours are custom. She has so much energy that she puts into them. And Mel got one too yesterday. You're having too much fun. Mel got one too.
She did. We got Mel a poppet, and everyone thought it was mine, haha, but it wasn't. It was for Mel. She loves it. Of course she does.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
We will see you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.